I might as well just, tell you
Yeah,
while we're
yeah,
on the
yeah,
road.
yeah,
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 like, yeah.
yeah.
So, yeah, I did know, Jasper fancied me.
Mm-hmm,
Until maybe yesterday I was trying to put pieces together.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, because, yeah, uh, like he introduced me to his family
Mm-hmm.
yesterday.
Yesterday again?
Yeah, yeah, like we just kind of went down there, just say hi.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, just, yeah. So that
Okay.
happened. I was like, okay, it's probably nothing much, right? Because we're good friends. And then, what else? Oh yeah, yeah. So then, like, I was trying to, yeah, something happened, and Jasper kind of gave me some flowers
Oh. Okay.
and asked him what they meant, you know? Because like,
Okay.
I had an idea what they
How
meant,
about
and more like, he gave me like flowers of, adoration or something. Yeah, something like
adoration?
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nah.
All right. How about let's go
Uh,
stand by the
oh,
water.
oh, okay. I'm afraid of being, yeah,
Being what?
I don't know, a mountain lion.
Well, I got a gun. We're good.
Okay, cool. He gave me the flowers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, yeah, you know what this means, right? And he was like, maybe like what does it really mean? And they kind of like, I guess looked it up or something. He was like, oh, he was like, a little shy. So I gave the flowers back. I'm like, okay, you just, you give this to someone when you like, you know, you fancy them or whatnot, right? And then he gave them back.
Mm.
hmm
How do you feel about it?
I don't know, because I didn't know until like yesterday,
Okay.
like you know, and I gave him, some flowers of encouragement because I don't know.
Mm-hmm. You want him to feel encouraged?
Yeah, and any
Keep.
choice he makes,
Okay. All
I
right.
kind of told, yeah,
Okay.
and
Okay.
like I'm not, I'm not really good at explaining my feelings. So I thought maybe the flowers would do a good job.
Yeah.
hmm Also, I told him like, like he already knows I'm like pretty bad person when it comes to this type of things. Like the whole April Fool's joke, me sweet talking everyone, but nah,
Mm-hmm.
my commitment issues.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of just gave him this, I guess a warning label.
Mm-hmm.
And
So
he
what
said
did
he
you?
already knew.
He said he already knew.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Were you surprised by that?
a little bit. Because like if most people knew, then they would have ran the other way.
Um.
I don't think he
Yeah.
actually knows. You know what I mean?
Um. Did he
And
tell? Did he tell you about the moth and flame thing?
yeah,
Okay.
and honestly, I know I'm not a really good person. I know Asani when it comes to that. I'm just afraid of hurting him because he's super nice, right?
Yeah.
And I have my habits. And I just kind of, I guess, realized his feelings last night, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think before, I thought it was just like, kind of like, I thought two people just shooting the shit, right?
Yeah.
But he always seemed like the friendly type, and
Mm-hmm.
he's important too.
So what do you think's next?
Honestly, I don't know. I honestly think he can't really, handle. me, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm a lot, Saini, you know?
Mm-hmm. Which parts though?
Mm,
Because I mean, you keep saying that, and I keep saying, uh-huh, yeah. But have you ever like verbalized to yourself what that means? Being a lot?
like, yeah. Like, I recognize it, you know? I kind of put people through hell,
Mm,
kind of give them little tests here and there,
right.
make them confused, you know, hot and
Yeah.
cold, then hot again, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of, you know, put them through hell to actually see if they enjoy my company.
Yeah.
It's just a bad habit, you know? I don't think Jasper can, you know, I don't think he can handle the heat in the kitchen. And I don't want that to ruin our friendship.
Yeah.
And I kind of just realized, like, hey, you know, he actually fancied me yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he really sweet talks me or anything, so yeah.
Yeah, he's very different from a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so what I've learned, and I mean, most of the conversations I just hope you get to have with him about this stuff. I don't want to share some of the things that we've talked about it with him, and vice versa. I don't feel like it's my
I
place
mean,
necessarily. But yeah, what I can tell and what I know is that he's not he's not necessarily the kind of traditionally flirtatious type,
mm-hmm.
right? So, and he's very careful.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, hence the moth and the flame, right? That's what I told him, like way back when. I don't even remember when it was. I just told him, yeah, you're just drawn to her like a moth to a flame, and you might burn your wings. And he's very, 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 cognizant of that. He understands that.
I mean, I do have a habit of doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I just don't want anything to be rushed or anything, you know?
And I don't think rushing anything is a thing with him. I think
No.
he's very patient, and he's also the type of guy who, you know, like things going well, I don't know. Like again, conversation to have with him, but that's kind of my
Yeah. It's just like
assumption.
I'm not ready to like commit or anything. I'm not ready to
And I don't think he's either,
yeah.
necessarily.
But the thing is I just don't want to hurt him. Like
Yeah.
I have a habit of doing that all the time, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like all the time. And I just don't
Yeah.
want you know, he's a nice guy. He's a
Yeah.
nice guy. It's just I
Yeah.
don't wanna, you know, burn him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's completely understandable. I I don't want that to happen either. It would suck. So, with him in particular, I feel like being straightforward and transparent is very important.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I did yesterday. I told him, hey,
Yeah.
you know,
That's good.
I actually value Jasper a lot, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think that probably gives you a little pause, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, we that one day talked about. I think you asked about, you know, family and stuff,
Yeah.
and after that, I kind of remember this thought that I had as a kid, and I only now remembered it and realized it. I was
Mm-hmm.
well, I was not super happy as a kid. Um, you know, where I was. I didn't have a
Mm-hmm.
great family life necessarily. Um, and one thing that I really like both wanted and didn't want at the same time was I wanted a little brother. I always thought it would be great to have a little brother, someone to just run around with in the forest. This is probably when I was, I don't know, up until I was maybe 10 or 11 or something like that. Pretty small. Um, but yeah, I was just thinking that would be it would be so great to have like a buddy, like a brother, someone who's always on my side and I'm on theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something in me still that kind of feels that way towards certain people, and I know Jasper is one of them. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so there's a reason why I I recognize and I realize that whatever happens between you two, it's none of my business really. But there's still parts of me that feels very protective. And I mean, I would say the same about you to a certain
Mm-hmm.
extent, but I don't think like if Jasper would be capable of hurting you the way I think you would be able to hurt him, it would be different. But I don't think he is necessarily. He's a bit of a different breed. I mean, I could be
Uh-huh.
wrong, and things change and people evolve, right? But I don't know. And I just want to say that straight up because that will kind of cloud my judgment in certain things, in certain situations. Um, but at the same time, this is something for you two to kind of figure out and do what you feel is best, right? What makes you happy, whatever that is.
Can I ask you something?
Yeah.
What should I do? I'm kind of just asking because you and Jasper are super close, you know?
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's hard for me to tell, right? Like, what I would always say is the best course of action, and especially with him, being honest about what it is that you two have and what it isn't. And I feel like you have been, so that's good. Um, like I think exploring things at your own pace and whatever. Like, you don't have to know right away what you want, right? Or what you want to do. I don't think you necessarily can if it was that big of a surprise to you, right? You have a lot to
Mm-hmm.
figure out. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I don't think there is a like a right way to do things.
Yeah. Thanks, Saini.
What for?
I don't know, just, hearing me out, whatnot.
Of course. You know, I don't think I've ever told you or anyone about like much about my life before I came here. But I feel like this is I feel like I want to share some of it with you.
Uh-huh.
Well, I did tell Jasper that I used to work as a reporter, like a radio DJ, all kinds of stuff, like for a long time. And I I did this story um some time ago with a well, I told you that I used to be pretty close with like a motorcycle club
Mm-hmm.
or people
Yeah.
from it. Yeah, I kind of got involved with them because I started working on this story. They did this whole documentary about how they worked, the ins and outs, some of their like legal battles and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty cool group. Their leader was a really awesome, headstrong woman, and she had a girlfriend, her like old lady or whatever,
Uh-huh.
and I got pretty close to them during the whole process. And you know, a lot of um, good times were had,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of wild times were had, and I guess that's probably part of why the whole documentary became so good because I got very close to them,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, it got some recognition when it came out and was all fine and dandy. But yeah, I made a big mistake in being a little bit too free with them and not understanding some boundaries. Um, I I ended up basically getting caught by someone, well, the media basically, um, having a good time partying and being a little too close to that president's old lady.
Oh.
Um, and pretty quickly after that, I realized I fucked up so hard because it just ruined everything for me. It, you know, I toyed with something I shouldn't have. I toyed with
Mm-hmm.
people I shouldn't have, and it ended costing me everything, basically. I was not someone who would ever have a career back home ever again. because, you know, drugs were involved, my integrity was questioned. Um, and of course, you know, the MC, not happy at all.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I just had to get out, basically, leave everything behind, start anew, just hide from my mistakes, you know, run away.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the reason why I'm mentioning this is because I feel like you probably see me in a certain way, you know, through work, and, you know, I don't do much else, I guess. And but it's I've made the same types of mistakes that you have pretty recently,
Mm-hmm.
you know, just toying with the wrong people, just not kind of not really seeing the forest or the tree. What the fuck ever is the what do you say? I don't remember. But
Uh-huh.
just, you know, being blinded by what's right in front of me and not seeing like the potential consequences. And I just fucked up so hard that I had to leave everything and become a fast food worker here, getting kidnapped
Mm-hmm.
every other day, you know, just uprooting everything. And not every decision in your life is going to be like that, right? But knowing what people in this city, in this state over here are involved in, you know, things can get very ugly very quickly.
Yeah.
So I don't want, I mean, I want you to be the free spirit that you are, because that's awesome. But at the same time, I don't want you to get hurt either. In a, you know, in a way that isn't just a learning experience that we all have to have at some point. You know, something
Mm-hmm.
that's permanent or like, yeah.
Thank you for, sharing that with me, Saini.
Yeah, I don't know. I've been thinking about it a lot lately, I guess. I'm trying to reflect on, you know, what parts of myself I see in you,
Mm-hmm.
and, you know, what a hypocrite I can be, right? In some situations, in some scenarios, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's probably why I felt that it's only fair for me to share that with you. Because, like, you know, I can't really cast any judgment on anyone for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But whatever you do, I hope it is what makes you happy. And in this particular case, I also hope it's not something that will shatter Jasper.
I kind of fuck up a lot, Saini. I just don't want to fuck this one up?
Yeah, I get that. It might take some work not to, but you can do it. You know, I've always thought you're like one of those people who can you can do anything if you just want it enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you want it enough, you can do it.
Thank you, Saini. I feel like you're like one of like two people who actually think like that, or and kind of, see me in a more positive light, if anything.
You think so?
Mm-hmm.
Or do you think it's just that other people might say things that, you know, comment more on the other parts? Because I have no, you know, illusions about people being perfect. We're all fuck
Yeah,
ups, right?
I know. Like, I feel like people think I do it on purpose, or like I want to, hurt people or something, or that I'm a
Mm
liar, two-faced bitch, a conniving like person.
hmm. Mm hmm.
But believe me, I was like a lot worse.
Mm hmm.
I don't know. I feel like even if I do improve one aspect, it's just everyone else is just gonna see, a totally different thing. And like, honestly, believe me, I was not this carefree in the past.
Mm.
I don't know. I just want to enjoy my time, but I'm trying not to hurt people. You
Yeah.
know, especially not like the whole Ashton way.
Oh, yeah.
No, won't be the first.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like part of what people might be seeing when they, say you're a liar or whatever it is the fact that, or is the same thing that I see in you when I say you can do anything. Because you have that skill to turn any situation around, just by your presence and your words, right? So if you want to deflect something, you can do that. If you want to charm someone, you can do that. If you want to piss someone off, you can do that, right? It's like something that you can just snap your fingers and do.
Yeah,
So for sure, I mean, I've seen things that I don't like necessarily, but I've mainly seen things that I do. But it's, of course, it's also very easy for me to say because I've never been, we've always had a pretty fun relationship, right? It's been
mm-hmm.
pretty good. So where we started is very different from some other relationship you might have with someone else.
Yeah. I just don't know how to fix, that, or just like fix the idea someone has of me, or just, god damn it, just fix me, right?
Mm, yeah, I mean, so there are a couple of things that I feel like I've learned myself from my experiences, and one is you can never control, like completely control what people think of you. They might have a certain perception, and you know, it might not change even if you change or you do whatever. And the other thing is like how we define ourselves is not necessarily via the impulses that we have, the impulse to do or say something or to act a certain way. What you can do is, learn to kind of stop and think like, oh, I don't have to be that person who says those things out loud. Why would I be? Right? And sometimes it's easy and sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's definitely not worth it. And just recognizing when and where and with who you can be the carefree, free spirit, whatever, and when not. I feel like that's more like what defines you, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy though.